So take two.
We're giggling because I potentially nearly flashed all of Louis' subscribers.
Only for we weren't streaming.
Thank God. Are you streaming now?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry guys, you missed the show. My titties were right out.
Housewife for the year.
Jesus Christ.
So they talked. That was a funny compilation of you were saying with the influence of the Catholic Church and no contraception.
Mm-hmm.
What was the one? She got married at 20 and 13 kids by 31.
Yeah.
And the one when
Crazy.
she's listing out all the kids and all their ages, and they get to the end, and then she's like, "There's one more, isn't there?"
Yeah, and I think it's so sad though as well, like, because like the church had such an influence, and like Louis really, like, not really into the church, we weren't into the church, I'm not so much into the church, but I just think it's awful that they had such a hold over women, because like it wasn't the same for men at all, like.
Oh, that wacky priest on it.
Yeah, that was afterwards in the
Referendum.
But like one woman on it, she was in Housewife of the Year, but like when she was younger, like she was just out with her friends having a little bop around the place, and they were like, obviously girls at the time only wore dresses, they didn't, like, women didn't wear trousers because they weren't allowed really to wear trousers, and they went on like a boat with their lad friends, and she was like taking photographs of everything, and they were kind of messing, like as young lads do, like trying to push them into the water and stuff like that. And she was taking photos of everything, so she brought her photos into the chemist, because obviously at the time that's where you got your photos printed, and the chemist didn't like what he saw, so he reported her to the priest, and then she got sent to a mother, like not a mother and baby home, Magdalene Laundry.
He said, you may sort this one out.
You may sort this one out, because they thought she was of loose morals or something, like, pretty much because she took a few photographs of her friends.
But her father bought her the camera when she was sick. Oh yeah, that was
horrific, like made my stomach churn, like it's just like, I definitely would have been sent to one.
Yeah.
Definitely.
You would have got a boys.
Oh god, yeah.
And then she had a right going over.
Yeah, so then she went to Housewife of the Year. Oh, that's in there. She went to Housewife of the Year and won.
Was it the next day?
No, it was like a year later.
I thought it was...
No, it was about a year later. She won, and then her husband just disappeared.
Yeah.
She had 4 kids. She couldn't find him. I think she took him 6 months to find him, wasn't it? Or a year?
Maybe a year.
But like, because obviously back then women couldn't have jobs, they had no money. She said like he left no money, she just left, so she had no income. The family went destitute.
Yeah, he went fishing in Alaska, and
now
his son found him because he was a fisherman and said, "There's nothing to call him mommy." He was like, "Oh, maybe I should."
Man.
And then remember, the woman that was a postman, she had to pick up extra hours because
her husband had muscular dystrophy.
Yeah, would he take a drink? He can't do that, but he can do that. It was very funny.
It was very well, like Irish
parts.
women are funny.
Yeah, Irish mammies.
They're so funny. Sorry, it just went really dark all of a sudden.
Yeah, some went in there. Terrible.
Outfits. Oh.
Teeth.
Yeah.
The only one with good teeth was married to a dentist.
That's not really nice though, is it?
What?
Just they had too much things to do. It was too expensive back then, I'd say. People didn't care.
Probably
but people just have but people have different morals, like not morals, but people have different importances of things. Like,
yeah, that's true.
You know, now people care about what they look like. But yeah, it's funny. It was funny to see the women's opinions on things as well, though. Some of them were very much like, you couldn't be doing a thing like that these days. Do you know?
Yeah.
Very like feminist, very much like, how do we go along with it? Why did we apply for it? Like, you know, why did we kind of? Because even like now, it could have been the way it was edited, but even some of the stuff Gabe Byrne was kind of saying, it was very scathing to them. Do you know, like, oh, what's your husband do? Or like a bit of it was like, you know, it was kind of not making a show of them or demeaning them or anything, but it was kind of like, you could see it was nearly like Gabe Byrne just didn't like the fact he had to do it. I got that impression from it.
I think he was like that at Everton though.
Okay.
I think that was just Gabe Byrne.
Okay. I can't remember.
But I think as well that's also the way it was edited.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure even if whatever it is, like if they're interviewing men like that, we go, what did your wife do? And I think just the way it was edited together, that it was like,
they probably wouldn't ask women that wouldn't ask men that. Like, there was a thing out recently.
No, but I mean like on Family Fortunes or anything. Oh, what did your wife do? I'd say they would.
Okay.
But maybe not for celebrities.
Yeah.
So I think if it was Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? We've got Paul here on the hot seat. He's been married for 22 years. What does your wife do, Paul? Oh, she... So I think you can manipulate it in the edit.
Yeah. Well. But yeah, so like someone, but then as you said, like some women, they were like, well sure, when we got married, all we could be were housewives.
Yeah.
So it was nice to get the recognition.
Yeah.
And everything, which is also fair like that. If it was to come back now, I know people would be fucking crying out, like, I'm all for women's rights and all for women doing whatever they want. But if people just want to be housewives, that's more power to them. There's so much work doing. They said if you were actually to pay the women for all the work they do at home, like,
yeah,
they don't be owed some amount of money, like, she never a day off.
Yeah.
It's a 7-day a week job.
But as well, but a lot of men were just handing over their wages every week as well. Like, I know my granddad did.
Okay, fair.
Because that was part of it, was to balance the books in the house. That was part of being a housewife then.
Yeah. But it was very good. It was really eye-opening. It was funny. It was nice to see like some women like that had like, even back then, had progressive views of being like, oh, maybe, you know, and some women weren't happy about it. But then I just felt really sad for some of the women that were career driven and wanted to be working and.
But then remember the one who was in the Magdalene Laundries, and then her husband left her.
Yeah.
And then she said when their daughter go to Canada or somewhere.
Yeah.
Like, what are you gonna do, mommy? Now that I'm gone. She's like, I'm gonna sit my leavings out. And then she's like, good for you.
I love that.
Oh, and then
she was such a nice, happy, smiley woman. I was just like,
yeah, she was brilliant. She was a Cork woman.
She was so nice.
And then
she had the sash on. She's like, oh, you look like an idiot.
Yeah, it was really
good. So good. I was like, oh my heart. I'm so glad that she was able to like move forward, like, and do something for herself, not like so much for.
But remember then as well when they went around to their houses and they had all their
stuff,
all the cards that had been sent to them from people.
Unreal.
Congratulations!
It was unreal.
Oh, it was.
All I could think about was a good few of them. I was like, how well they kept them cards. Like some of them cards are like 40 years old. I was like, how were they kept so well?
I remember
they looked like they were bought last week.
Was that the one that was put up for adoption? Or was that a different one?
That was a different one. She had the short red hair.
Because remember, yeah, so her mother had her young, and then she was kind of sent
up
out
in the Magdalene Laundry.
Yeah, so then she got adopted or fostered or whatever. So she always said she had two mummies.
Yes.
And then she was when she was reading out the cards, it's like, oh, we didn't get to talk to you on your big night, but I said hi to your mummy. And she goes, which one?
Remember then the family didn't want nothing to do with her.
Yeah.
That's so sad.
Oh yeah, she found out who her biological mother was.
Her biological mother was there for the Housewife of the Year show.
Yeah.
But she hadn't met her.
Oh, had she not at that stage?
No.
Oh.
But she just knew who she was.
Of course she would, yeah. But then she was like 6 miles away.
Yeah, 9 months.
9 miles.
Her whole life.
Yeah, and then she got to meet her.
Also preface for anyone who is outside of Ireland who doesn't know about the Magdalene Laundries, look it up. But basically, if you were underage and pregnant, unmarried and pregnant, a bit of a loose woman, or anything, like, you didn't have to be pregnant, they just sent you off.
Taking photographs of boys.
Yeah, sent you off to these awful places where like they were mistreated. And
they were
you
abused
sometimes
and beaten by nuns.
Yeah, and you basically were just left there, and some people got out and some people just died there. A lot of babies died there.
And what is it said there till you were adult age? No, because some of them would have been like, when do you get out?
I don't really know.
Is it kind of like a concentration camp?
Not to, well,
because like you hear them horror stories of like on bath night, where if you were the last one to get a bath, it was just freezing cold water.
Yeah.
And disgusting after.
But sure, even like that Cillian Murphy film, like that, you one locked out in the turf shed.
I didn't watch that.
Freezing. Oh, you didn't watch that? It was awful.
I knew that was going to be like that. Oh, and then there's that story of the lady, was that Ross Gray? Where she died in.
So that's what Magdalene Laundries were basically. They were horrific. Look them up if you don't know about it. You really need to know about it. It's important to know these things.
Yeah.
But do you need to do that?
What are you going to say?
Yeah, the young one. Oh, I can't remember her It's terrible. I should know her name.
Hold that thought then. What young one? What about us? What young one?
And love it.
And loved it, alright.
Louis, you can't say that. That's awful.
What?
That's awful. You can't say that. No, I didn't like that one now. Stop. That's not nice.
What?
That wasn't nice.
Oh, is that the one that died in the grave?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was one in the movie.
What one in the movie?
I thought it was just one of the characters you were on about.
No.
Alright.
That's very bad. You have to edit that out. You can't. It was in Longford.
Yeah, she died. She was 16, wasn't she?
She was 15.
She was 15.
1984. Yeah, so basically she was 15 and she was pregnant and she was too afraid to go to anyone because obviously Ireland was like that still in the 80s, which is shocking. And she gave birth to a baby boy and she was in a grotto, ironically. And
Yeah.
she was under a statue of Our Lady and she gave birth to a baby and both her and the baby died.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's movies about that, is there?
Yeah. Well, I don't know if there is.
I think there is.
People are very reluctant to talk about it still, like.
Not a documentary, I think there's a
Okay.
theatrical adaptation of it.
But yeah, so it was on about that. That happened in the 80s when this competition was still kind of going on. And like that, the Magdalene Laundries didn't finish until 96.
Was it that long?
Mm.
Wow.
Yeah, last one closed in 96, I think. Which is a year after this competition ended. And that's like I was 2 in that.
And were they still as bad then?
Probably, I would think.
Yeah.
So it just brings a lot of that up, kind of like that. There was these, like, you know, ooh, you're Housewife of the Year, these shiny kind of happy, they're trying to make, and I know it's great, like it is great that some women got the recognition, but it also for women at that time it was just awful. Like divorce wasn't in.
Oh.
Was
there a referendum on divorce? In it?
There was a referendum on divorce.
Did that get no?
Got
Yeah,
it
that
no.
was the referendums, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Because it went, was there 2 of them and the second time it went
The
through?
second time I
It
went
was
through.
marginally.
Yeah.
It was like 49.8% said no and
Yeah.
50.2 for yes.
Yeah.
I looked at it, I think when I had the numbers on the screen, it was like 600 votes is what swayed it. That's nothing.
Nothing. Yeah. Like, but like that just shows you as well, like how, like we are, like Ireland is so behind, like it's so behind in their views, and the church just ruled everything. So of course people are like, why would you get divorced? But then people were in loveless marriages. Rape was acceptable in a marriage. If your husband raped you, you couldn't go to court. Like you couldn't go to couldn't go to the guards because it was legal to do that. That was in the Irish Constitution. That was legal for your husband to rape you. Like you were there to give them whatever they wanted. Like awful stuff. Like it's just. But yeah, they had Housewife of the Year, so that just kind of cleared everything up. But like that, women put up with so much. Now, obviously, men do as well. We're not disregarding that. Men can, in certain circumstances, put up with a lot as well. We're not saying women are saints or anything, like. But it's just like awful. It was just kind of. This was kind of, as nice as it was. Sometimes you're like, it was just kind of a bit of a cover over for what some women were going through at the time, like.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. And then you're one who won it the last time, because then when did you say the last one was?
95.
Then in 96 it was like Housemaker of the Year.
Yeah.
So it was open to men and women. So your one was like, well, I never lost my title and the reigning champion.
Yeah. She was delighted. She was like, oh, she looked great as well.
It was so funny though, because I presume did it start getting televised in the 80s? It seemed like this.
Yeah, the first time it was in the 80s, yeah.
Was probably from like 84
Yeah.
to 95.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But looking at the footage from 95, that could have been the 1950s.
Oh, so behind.
So, they all look so old fashioned.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it's from 2024.
Yeah,
that was from 2022.
No, I thought it was 24, because it just won the documentary at the Galway Film Festival.
Started in 1967 and finished in 1995. It was housed in the Shelburne.
Very nice.
It was first televised in 1982.
82?
82 was the first year it was televised.
And then remember that your one that was on it, she goes, I don't know, they came from Longford say or somewhere. She's like, oh, we arrived in style, we got a minibus.
Yeah.
It was very Irish.
Really Irish. It was so
Very
funny. And I don't think any other country, well, I feel like it wouldn't be, if any other country did it, wouldn't be as funny.
No.
It really wouldn't. Like, if it was in America, like, it'd be very...
Or England.
Yeah. If it was in America, it'd be very, like, polished.
Glitz and glamour.
Stepford Wives vibes.
Yes.
Yes. Whereas, like, I find in Ireland, you've such a wide range. Well, like, anywhere. Even... Like, obviously back then, like, you know, there was no people of colour in the competition or anything like that, but I just feel like even Irish people in general, it's such a, like, mixture of people. Like, you know, you've got your people from the West who are, like, real and then, like, that are really, really country kind of, you know, in your head when you think typical Irish mammy, I think of people from, like, the West or Cork, like, the South and stuff. And they're just so gas. But then you've got, like, you know...
The
Dubs, so sometimes they seem a little bit more... I suppose, or like a bit not la-di-da, but a little bit more
posh,
yeah.
Yeah?
A little bit.
But no, the thing of, like, if you're saying Dunleary versus Inner City...
Yeah, also true. But what I loved as well, one of my favourite bits was, so, like, none of them really wore, like, gowns or anything. They were kind of just in, like... Particularly in the early years, they were kind of just in, like, maybe a cardigan under or like a nice top, but so random. In one of the years, I can't remember which one it was, but they were calling out the women. Some of them were just like in a nice skirt and a blouse. Some of them were in bits, and then this woman rocked up in a full, like, sparkly ball gown compared to the rest of them. I was like, she's way dressed up for this. Like, I was like, it was gas. But then as it went on with the years, they did get a bit more fancy with their dresses.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was gas. It was really good. I think it was a really not important, but I liked the way it kind of talked about what was happening at the time compared to, like, the competition as well, and, like, the views of the women that they didn't necessarily fully agree with it.
Yeah, like, some of them were saying, like that family that was destined, or was it the fella that got muscular dystrophy, and he was a carpenter, so he couldn't work, so she was like, I need to do something to earn extra money. And, like, her thing was she never wanted to be anything but a housewife. She never wanted a job. And they were saying that too, that it's okay to want to be a housewife. They were understanding that some women would want to pursue a career, but they were saying some women want to just be a housewife as well, and that's okay too. I think that's good to understand. The only thing is, I've objectively, the movie, I've thought it was very scattered. Like, and then that whole bit in the middle with the, you know, when they did that, it was like it was glitching or something. I thought that was weird. What? Do you remember it kind of went, it looked like it was, the film was glitching a bit. It had, like, the weird change. No? Do you remember that bit? I think there was just bits of the archive footage. It was, I don't know. Like it was recorded on a VHS tape. No, there was bits. It was like a transition from one bit to another, and it kind of just made it look a bit glitchy and stuff. Yeah, I just thought the narrative, it wasn't clear. No. Like, it wasn't linear as in, like, the time frame of year by year. No. But then sometimes it'd tell someone's story, and then sometimes it'd be, like you said, about religion or contraception or careers, views on women, Magdalene laundries. But it was just a bit scattered, and then it might go back to that later on. Yeah. Instead of doing, like, point by point or story by story. Yeah. And then I found it hard as well because we're showing bits, and Gay Byrne would have, like, grey hair, and then they'd show him again and he'd have blonde hair, and then, like, so it was going back and forward, and I was kind of like, oh. I did find it hard to follow. But I wouldn't mind that if there was a theme, if there was, like, a story throughout, or maybe even it needed a narration. Yeah. That was my only negative feedback. But lots of laughs. Lots of laughs. And I really loved that. Maybe it was just like that, the crowd that was there, but, like, bits happened and you could hear all the women in the crowd being like, oh, look at that, oh Jesus, or like someone would laugh and be like, oh God, like, you know, and it was great that you could hear people kind of really react to it. I loved it. Yeah.
And you felt like you could do that as well. You could be like, oh God, you could just say stuff out loud and be like, no one would be like, shh, like whatever. It was just a nice audience that was there too. Yeah.
Yeah, it was, it definitely made you think, made you react, and I guess, like, what, I suppose, 95 is 30 years ago now.
Yeah.
But it seems like a lifetime.
Yeah.
But then again, we'll probably look back on the way we are today and say we were so far behind.
Yeah. Yeah.
What would you give it out of 10 then?
I'd give it a 6.5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
Not groundbreaking. Not like took my breath away. Not like whatever. But like was good. Like I just have high standards. I'm so bad.
Yeah.
And just I found it hard to follow.
Like I didn't find it hard to follow. I just didn't think there was any.
Yeah.
Plot or.
Yeah.
Narrative. Yeah. Structure. There's no structure. It lacks structure.
Yeah.
It didn't know what.
Go on.
It didn't know what it wanted to do.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. I found that. Yeah. I'm like, what's the point of this?
Yeah. Is it just to reflect?
Yeah.
Or maybe that's it. Yeah. Just didn't really have an angle.
Yeah. Also taking points away from the dumbass seats being very uncomfortable. Katie found them comfortable.
They were better than I remember.
Yeah.
Where we sat
I think up the back.
previously.
I think up the back is good.
Yeah, the back is good.
Also the fact we missed the trailers. Points off for that.
Yeah.
But it's the most packed I've ever seen the dumbass for something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you recommend people see it? Hold that thought. Let's start that up again. The sun beaming.
The sun will come out to my roof.
Mad.
Your bottom dollar that tomorrow
Get off
there'll be sun. Tomorrow
I love you.
Tomorrow you're only a day away.
So would you recommend people to see it?
I would, yeah. It was really like, as much as it was heartbreaking at points and sad and like wanted to cry at the odd time, it was really funny. There was loads of laugh out loud moments and bits that made you kind of go, oh Jesus, like it was just, it was really good, and it's a nice insight into how Ireland was for women, and just kind of a nice reflection on like how far maybe we have come.
Yeah.
Because it's only a short amount of time ago that was on.
Yeah.
But then also how far, you know, just to look at different opinions and how people perceive it, like, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I likewise probably.
What would you give it out of 10?
I'd probably give it a 6.5.
Yeah.
Like, but I would encourage people to see it, but it's not going to change the world.
No.
It's not going to be revolutionary. I suppose it will be timeless in that you can dip in and out of it any time, and it'll still be as relevant as it was because it was just capturing a time.
Yeah.
I thought it did a good job of that. Yeah, and like very funny.
Yeah.
Great characters.
I do think maybe in saying that, like, I don't think it's going to help, like, say, people my age or maybe younger. I feel like people are quite, what's the word?
Chancy.
No. Moved on from...
Progressed?
Yeah, progressed a bit, but it might kind of make people, older people think, I kind of think a lot of older people will go and see it. Like that the crowd that went were like, say my mom's age, so like 50s and up.
Yeah.
A lot of them were. But I think it might make them look at it and go, oh, maybe that was really wrong. If they don't have that opinion already, obviously, there's a lot of progressive people. But they might make them kind of think and go, oh, maybe, you know, things were bad, not as good for women back then, and maybe like they had a fine life or they were happy in what they were doing. Might make people think a little bit.
Yeah.
Maybe not.
How good God.
We'll just maybe rethink a few things, you know, when stuff about women comes up in the news or comes up in for voting and stuff like that. It might just make them rethink. Maybe to give people just a choice, even if they don't agree with it.
What are you talking about?
I'm just spouting stuff now.
What was your point?
I don't know. That's okay. I know what I said.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Well,
it might just make older people rethink some of their values.
Okay.
That's what I meant.
Okay.
That's what I said.
Was it?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's also switched off there.
Yeah.
It's just off all the time when I talk.
You ramble a lot.
I don't ramble. I don't. That wasn't a ramble.
Okay, I'll leave it in. I'll edit it.
Okay.
So if you enjoyed this review, please comment below what you'd like us to review next. Give us a like and a subscribe if you're feeling really, really generous. It costs you nothing, but it means the world to us.
You need to change that.
Why?
Because it's just so...
Why?
Ick.
Why?
Costs nothing, but it means the world to us. If Intel said that.
Shh. Why would you mention them? Irrelevantly.
Irrelevant.
Yeah.
You can edit it out.
Well, okay. Open to suggestions, what would you do?
Comment below for an intro.
Just it.
What?
That's it? Just comment?
Get the people to give us an outro.
Oh.
What I'm saying, comment below and tell us what we should say for the outro.
Hmm.
Oh. Are you annoyed I said that?
No.
You are annoyed I said that?
No.
Yeah, you are.
No.
Yeah, you are.
No.
No?
No.
It just doesn't seem authentic.
Do I get your tits out before I stop recording here?
Oh, sorry, I didn't realise you hadn't stopped recording.